time for movies on Rock and Gold Radio. It's Meet Me in the Foyer with Linda Marrick and Jawa.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for choosing to meet me in the foyer and joining us on another cinematic charabang as we travel through time, space, history and post-apocalyptic worlds as we look for wealth, glory, love and a better tomorrow with canines, criminals, kids and star-crossed lovers. All brought to you by your cinematic stewards, Jawa and Linda. And speaking of Linda, here she is now, the consummate professional, the commendable prognosticator, the critical provider, Linda Marrick herself. How are you doing, Linda?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, yes. It's
good,
nearly the end of another week and it's not been a bad one.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting busier again. The release of window is getting busier again, which is fine. I'm not struggling to find something to review, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good. I'm happy.
And we're not far away, I suppose, from festival season and all that sort of, and films coming out seeking awards. So yeah, it's really starting to ramp up now, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this multitude of options, what have you chosen for us this week?
This week I shall be reviewing a kind of high concept romantic comedy called One Night Only. I will also be reviewing a historical drama, French historical drama called De Gaulle Résistance. And then I will also be reviewing the new Ridley Scott movie, The Dog Stars.
Excellent. Looking forward to all of those. And you can look forward to my terrible French pronunciation once we get to that. And before you pull on your travelling shoes, don't forget I'll be bringing you my recommendation in the form of a classic movie. And of course, we've got the movie news. And as is always traditional, the box office top 10. So let's begin at the box office.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
So, box office top 10 time as it stands as we record, and I should say, or maybe I shouldn't, but I will say, it's one of the worst top 10s I can recall.
Oh my God.
it's dreadful. But
oh no.
Before we get that, a little shout out to a film that didn't quite make number 10. At number 11, it's Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Number 11's been out for 1 week, has made $329,000 at the UK box office, and my partner went to see it just last week as she'd been looking forward to it for so long after I should have remembered the name of the previous film by this director, The TV Light, something like that. No,
I saw The TV Glow.
Boom, Linda knows. Yes, that's it. And she very much enjoyed it. Have you seen that one yet, Linda?
I haven't seen Teenage Sex and Camp Miasma because I was busy when the screening was on, but I will be watching it very soon because it is part of the sort of award season, so I'll probably no doubt be sent a link for it. But yeah, I put my hands up. I missed it last week.
That's quite all right. Quite all right. It was quite difficult to find actually last week.
It is available on Mubi to watch on streaming, so if you want to go on Mubi and get it there.
Fantastic.
It is a Mubi release.
Wonderful.
I'm saying Mubi as in M-U-B-I, okay?
But yes, let's move on to the box office top 10 proper. And at number 10, it's Tony. It's been out for 2 weeks. It was reviewed by Linda on a previous show that you can find on Acast, Spotify, iTunes and YouTube. And it's made £1 million at the UK box office.
Oh, fabulous movie. One of probably my top 10 films of the year. Really, 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 really good. Really brilliant direction, brilliant performance by pretty much everyone in it, and it will no doubt be collecting nominations come award season.
Wonderful. Sure. Don't forget, Linda, of course, when we do our movies of the year, you have to shave that top 10 down to a top 9. I'd like to be awkward like that. So.
Yeah, that's fine. And no doubt that will change. I mean, I feel like my top 5 probably not change from now on, but I've got a bunch of stuff that I haven't seen yet, so let's see.
Yes, I'm also penning a list of things I need to catch up on before the end of the year, and it's getting rather long, but I will make every effort to see them all. At number 9, it's another film reviewed by Linda just last week, in fact. It's made $372,000 at the UK box office, and I'm talking about Mutiny.
Well, I didn't hate it. Like I know. I mean, there's a lot to be said about these kind of meat-headed movies. They are for the people who want to see them, and it's a film that knows its customer really well. And I always like seeing Jason Statham in anything. So
I was going to say you've got more time for the Stath than I have.
Yeah, No, I have time for him because I like, they are B movies and they are action movies, and those kind of movies don't really so much exist anymore. You know, like especially they are fronted by the one person everyone recognizes, and for him to have made a career out of this, I just chapeau to him.
Absolutely.
I have doffed my hat to him because it's very difficult. The film industry is a difficult place at the moment, and he has obviously found his niche. Why not? Yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, no, fair play to the guy. Number 8, a film not struggling at all at the box office across the globe, is Toy Story 5. It's 10th week on release. It's made 56 million, and once again you can catch Linda's review on all of our platforms. I'll just mention them again. I'll mention them multiple times, I imagine. Acast, Spotify, iTunes and YouTube.
Great movie. Great, absolutely great movie. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, actually people have not listened to the naysayers. People have gone and seen this movie, and good, and may the franchise last forever. Absolutely.
Next, number 7, a film that gives me the chance to murder its title. It's Bethlehem Kudumba Unit. It's been out for 1 week. It's made 438,000 at the UK box office. It's an Indian Malayalam language movie, and it's a romantic comedy, which did make me wonder about the distinction between a romantic comedy and a comedy romance, but I didn't come to any conclusions, so we'll have to cover that later.
Comedy romance. Are they the same thing? Surely they are.
In my mind, there's a slight distinction. Like a few months ago, we mentioned Shallow Hal, and I'm sure there's more modern examples, but that for me is a sort of comedy romance rather than a romantic comedy.
That's an awful movie. Really, genuinely.
It's one of my guilty pleasures. I have to.
God.
I can just watch Jack Black in anything, but
same, but not in that.
Fair enough. Number 6, we'll move briefly over this one. It's Paw Patrol Dino Movie, 3 weeks on release, 4.3 million at the UK box office. There'll surely be more Paw Patrol movies coming, and that's pretty much all there is to say about that.
I have nothing left to say. I've not seen it, and I don't think it was made for me. So,
much to my surprise, at number 5, it's Spa Weekend, first week on release. You were warned by Linda, but you didn't listen, and that's now made about 500,000 at the UK box office in that 1 week.
The single worst movie ever. I mean, it's just awful. Like, no redeeming qualities. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Say no more.
Above that, it's a sort of 80s action adventure throwback. It's The End of Oak Street, second week on release. Once again, you can catch Linda's review on our channels, and it's made 4.5 million at the UK box office.
It's great fun. I don't care what anyone says. It's great fun. Some people have had it already talking about it being one of the worst movies of the year or one of the best movies of the year. It's a movie that has really divided people, and I really like that. I really like that. I like when, I'm not really a fan of consensus when it comes to movies. I like when a movie comes out of nowhere to sort of divide people, and I'm glad that's at the end of Oak Street is doing that. I really liked it. I really liked it.
That's a really good point. I mean, I'm not a fan of consensus generally, but it's maybe largely unpopular. But I think it's fun when people disagree and then they can discuss their disagreements. But like mature adults, let's not fall out about it. Exactly. Yes, not on the internet. It doesn't happen there. At number 3, it's Insidious: Out of the Further, which is a sort of terrible title I used to come up with when I was making films at college. That's been out for a week, and it's made 2 million at the UK box office.
So this was not screened to the press, and the Insidious movies seldom get screened to the press. In fact, I don't think it's been like one of them has been screened to the press for, I'd say, about at least 10 years. I did actually see the last one. I paid to go and see the last one. That was supposed to be the last one of the franchise, like the end of it, but it wasn't, obviously, like with anything. I have not seen this particular one. I don't really care about it, to be honest with you. I didn't really particularly enjoy watching. I didn't find it like scary in the slightest, actually. So
No,
it did nothing for me.
I've never seen any of them, and I've told this before, but my abiding memory of Insidious is that people at the box office where I used to work would call it insidious. Okay, insidious. There's your ticket. Enjoy. Which means this week, for another week, it's an unchanged top 2. Christopher Nolan's film The Odyssey remains number 2. It's been out for 6 weeks. It's made 75 million at the UK box office, and our special show is still available on our YouTube channel. YouTube channel, that's better, yeah. All of which means that number 1, yes, it's still Spider-Man. It's still the most popular film in the UK and around the world. It's been out for a month. It's made £87 million. And once again, there's a review available from Linda on one of our previous shows.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. I have something to tell you that's gonna sound crazy. But it's the truth.
You're the Spider-Man.
Can't tell anybody about this. Gotta keep it a secret.
Okay.
Thank you. Everybody good?
Yeah, Spider-Man!
We used to know each other. We were together. But something bad was gonna happen. Me. And the only way to stop it was to do the hard thing. You're gonna forget who I am.
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna come and find you. And I'll explain everything.
You're better. I love you. I'm just waiting to tell me when you see me again.
My name is Peter Parker, and I would like a coffee.
Is there anything else?
Maybe I'll never read this to you. No. Maybe I'm just writing this for me. And maybe that's my responsibility, to live alone with the truth. Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
We're faced with a threat that can be anyone.
You sure you want to do this, Scorpion?
You think I'm Scorpion?
Talk to Banner?
No, Banner. Only Hawke.
I'm sorry, but you're in danger. What? I promised you that I would keep you safe. Please, you just have to trust me. Come on.
Fine.
You're the only one who can sense it.
Hey, can we do this one at a time, please?
You're the only one who can defeat it.
The Spidey Tracker app says that Spider-Man is in the direct vicinity.
Oh yeah? No way, that's crazy.
Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, like I've said everything I have to say. There's something about this particular installment in the franchise that really has captured people's imagination, and you know, it took to the 4th film for it to be super popular, this franchise. And I know, like, even the naysayers have really liked this one. I think it's the best one, but I don't think like it's the most memorable one.
Okay.
I think it's the best one all around. I've liked a bit of each one, but I think I liked all of this one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I know, I really must see it. I feel like the only person left in the UK who hasn't seen this film now.
You must go.
And that's the box office top 10 for this week.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
Next, a film from Will Gluck, the author of such masterpieces as Friends with Benefits, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway Rabbit, and Anyone But You. Probably what producers and audiences were thinking when they heard of this next film, One Night Only, which sounds to me like a mixture of One Day and The Purge. But it sounds like a worse version of both. Perhaps should be called The Shag or One Day a Shag. Anyway, let's join our fearless critic who boldly goes where no one has been before to see if you should follow in her footsteps.
I'm hungry.
Huh?
I'm hungry.
Huh?
So hungry.
We're closed.
I know the owner. This is the best pizza I've ever had. I think it's better than sex. I can't remember.
What's your favorite part?
Extra cheese.
Of sex?
The build up.
That's just a typical lady answer.
What's yours? Boobs? Cowgirl? You like to jackhammer?
Wow. For me, it's about the after.
Oh, come on.
Two people lying there, sharing a secret. Finding love is hard enough. Try doing it on the one night a year single people are legally allowed to have sex. I hate this night. Mom, I'm just gonna stay in.
No, you should go out. This night's insane. I just want to find, like, a good guy.
To finding true love on the least romantic night of the year.
We're gonna go slow. We're gonna make good choices.
Allie, this is Tayshawn.
Hello.
We met in line for the bathroom.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Can I get a whiskey?
How is anyone supposed to find something real on a night like tonight?
Sorry.
I'm Owen.
Allie,
What about us?
your ears look like car doors.
Well, your nose is way too small for your face.
Your chin could plow a field.
Your legs don't make any sense.
Your hairline doesn't make any sense.
We're all just trying to find someone who makes going through it worth it.
What happened to your eye?
Allergies.
Is it?
Are you familiar with the idea of a high concept movie or high concept idea?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you reviewed one not too long ago, didn't you? The one with Miles Teller. What was that called?
With Callum Turner as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's making a habit of appearing in these kind of movies.
Oh, of course. Yes, I hadn't even thought of that. Yes.
So these are movies set up on a singular idea. What if? What if something? Just let's imagine the most sort of out there idea, or not so out there, an out there idea that actually can work. And what if is the setup for One Night Only? It's kind of, you did mention The Purge there, and I think One Night Only would have worked perfectly well as a romantic comedy had it not been built around one of those ideas that has absolutely no connection to a reality. I think it's all well and good trying to think of a what if question to set up it's like an elevator pitch. What if people weren't allowed to have sex ever, premarital sex or sex out of marriage, apart from one time a year? So we live in a world that a kind of parallel world, parallel America, where sex has been outlawed. This kind of like conservative government has decided that sex is outlawed. If you're not in a marriage, you cannot have sex apart from 1 year, once a year. And during that time, you can have sex with as many people as you want, and you don't even have to keep in touch with them ever again. Right? So let's start with the good stuff. So the film, I mentioned Callum Turner. I adore Callum Turner, and I know, even if people are saying that he might be the new Bond, I have no objection towards him. I just think he is really, really super likable.
Mm.
So the film has two extremely likable leads, as I said, Callum Turner, Monica Barbaro. If you remember, Monica Barbaro was John Baez in the Bob Dylan movie with
Yes, yes,
Timothy
indeed.
Chalamet. She's a fabulous, fabulous actress. And they are both really, really good, and they have absolutely ridiculous chemistry. They have like the best chemistry ever, and that is something really rare in film, because sometimes you get two actors thrown together and then they just can't make it work because they obviously hate each other or they don't really like each other that much. So
Which
the
is also
problem with
quite fascinating.
yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting to see this. I can't remember of the latest one, but I did say a couple did not have any chemistry, and that's what ruined the film for me. So the problem is that this premise is so widely far-fetched that it becomes almost impossible to settle into the movie. Like it really, I had like, I love, you know me and romantic comedy. I'm a massive romantic comedy fan. So any romantic comedy, I always try and find the good in them, and I always try and find a reason why I should be watching them. The problem with this is that, as I said, it's impossible to settle into the story enough to appreciate the relationship between them, because that niggling high concept idea is so annoying, and it has absolutely no connection with the world, with the real world. And I think for a high concept idea to work, it has to be believable. What if crime or murder was legal once a year? That is a believable thing, right? That is a believable thing. That is, you can just imagine a kind of fascistic regime deciding that that was the best way to make sure that there is no crime for the rest of the year. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
the whole sex thing is a bit silly. So this is an undeniably strange idea, and while there is some fun to be had with it, and I keep repeating that I really like the two leads, and I really like the their banter, and there is really good banter, and there is some good comedy in it. However, I was just so thrown by the whole thing that I felt like it's a film that feels really weird. It's that Will Gluck must be a really, really popular guy in Hollywood, because there is like a ton of cameos in this. I'm not going to ruin it by telling you who's in it, but like you're going to be really surprised by some of the cameos, because I just feel like he must have he must know people all around all around Hollywood, because for them there are some actors genuinely couldn't believe they were in there. So yeah, like as I say, Owen Turner plays a pizza shop owner who initially plans to use the night to propose to his girlfriend. She's played by Maya Hawke, Ethan Hawke's daughter, only to discover that she, for this year, has decided that she would prefer to go and have sex with someone new. To do that. And then Barbaro plays Ali. She's a singer, she's single, she's unlucky in love, and she spends the whole evening again getting really, really close to finding someone to spend the night with, and then things go awry. There's even like a subplot about them chasing after the last condom in town, as if, this is a night where people are expected to sort of get out there and do the deed. I mean, don't tell me there's no protection. It's all very, very silly. Unfortunately, the film really does its best, but it can't really escape the weight of its own idea. I would have liked to see a romantic comedy between these two guys, these two actors. I really would have. I'd pay good money to see Callum Turner in a really fabulous high concept romantic comedy. This isn't it, unfortunately. There's also like some good turns by supporting Molly Ringwald, for example, plays the mother of Callum Turner's character. There's Ziwi, she's a comedian, Ben Marshall. There's it's fine. I personally wasn't super hot. I kept all the time I was watching it, I kept thinking, there is a really good romantic comedy here. This is it. And I as much as I love these high concept ideas and sort of these what if setups, I think that is mostly the problem with it. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work, and it's a waste of everyone's time, I'm afraid. Sorry.
It's a shame. I mean, I think I was slightly less so. I mean, if anyone was wondering, the film we were talking about before was Eternity. I think I was slightly less sold on that than you were, and so
I
yeah,
really liked that. Really liked it. Have you
I,
seen it?
yeah. I saw it when it came out. I think it had moments, but sort of tailed off towards the end for me. And like with all of these high concept films, they can really struggle underneath the weight of their concept. That one sounds like it worked better than this one, but yeah, it sounds like two slightly less than perfect high concept rom-coms for Callum on the bounce.
I think these high concept ideas need to be really, either really super out there, or super close to reality for them to work. You
Yes.
cannot be in between. You cannot be like sort of it didn't make sense why this day would exist. You know?
Yeah.
And then the way they deal with it at the end is also super disappointing, because it is a law set up by a fascistic government, but then it doesn't get resolved. There is no sort of no one getting sort of the picket, like there is no one outside saying this is a fascistic idea, let's not do it anymore. It
Down with
just
this
goes
sort of
back to
thing.
normal. It's just like, what kind of, I mean, it's like it was made by someone with ideas, someone who's has the same kind of like ideology as MAGA. It felt like, if you're going to make a movie about this, why not make it into a proper movie that has proper subversive ideas? What if it ends with this whole day not existing anymore and going back to normal, where people can do whatever the hell they want with their private parts? So I felt like it lacked what's the word I'm looking for? Not honesty, but like ballsiness, It's just like, it had been way more interesting if at the end of the movie, you get the two leads start a revolution against this whole setup, and the next year, because it does take you to the very next year. Now I'm giving too much away, but like let's have them the next year waking up and everyone's free to do whatever the hell they want with their day.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's terrible. I can't remember who said it, but there was a crime writer, a top level crime writer said, I what I do is I put my character in a situation, a sort of impossible to escape situation, and then the novel is me trying to figure out how they get out of it. And
I love that.
with this, it sounds like they've come up with the concept and then gone, yeah, whatever.
Let's leave it.
Yeah,
Status
exactly.
quo. Yeah, let's keep the status quo. We're gonna put these people together, show how ridiculous this whole night is, and then at the end decide to just let it go on. How ridiculous is that? Like, I mean,
Yeah. And she's got an amazing CV building already, hasn't she? Because she was in Top Gun Maverick and A Complete Unknown, as you said, and Crime 101 earlier this year. It's a really good CV she's got. And he, as I'm not the only one, he's my pick for James Bond. I'm not saying he will be, but if I had choice, I would pick Callum Turner. He would be my choice. Although
same.
I was quite excited to see Jack Lowden getting some hype this week, because I think it'd be great.
I want either Jack Lowden or Callum Turner. I mean, Callum Turner will need to convince people who are not very happy with the ears. He does have some
He seems to be
sizable
finding
ear.
lots of things. They're complaining about his hair color and all sorts of stuff. It's ridiculous. But Jack Barton is this week's hot pick, who I don't really know. And a lot of people were excited about Aaron Taylor Johnson, but I'm not too sold on that
Yeah,
one.
no, I thought he could do it, but I don't think I think he's okay. I think he's very hit and miss. I think he's sometimes quite good and sometimes he's not super good. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe test the waters for yourself. Try it for one night only, or don't. But from the sound of Linda, maybe don't. So that's One Night Only coming out in the cinemas this week. Thank you very much, Linda.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
Now it is movie news time, and I mentioned James Bond's there, and Saoirse Ronan has said that she would like to take on a dark role and would love to play a Bond villain. Although she did rather confusingly say, I think it would be really interesting having a young female villain, especially for girls and women, to see someone who can just take all that pent-up anger and direct it somewhere, which sounds rather like she's sort of depicting these Bond villains as role models, which I don't think is quite the point. But
I can't see her. I mean, she's Saoirse Ronan. I can't see her being a Bond villain at all. And she is a fantastic actress. Just be yourself. I mean, I don't want to see her as a Bond villain. I don't actually even want to see her as a Bond girl. I just want to see her play some really good character roles, and she is really fabulous. And also, she's married to Jack Lowden, who is.
She is, yes.
So, you know.
I mean, that would be interesting dynamic, and she'd be about the right age actually, because if they're going for a younger Bond, it would be interesting to see a younger villain up against them. But as you say, maybe not that role. But she's so good at everything else.
I do love her though. I mean, I think she's brilliant in everything, and I have nothing more to say really. There are other things I'd like to see her in before I want to see her as a Bond villain. I'd like to have, there's always this kind of talk of Bond girls, but Bond girls this, Bond girl that. I want that concept to kind of not exist anymore. I want the female protagonists to be their own in a Bond movie and not be presented to us as just Bond girls. And I think that could work if she wants to be in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into it in a big way, but I think that's just a nice bit of shorthand. And these days, the female characters in Bond have for a long time have had more depth to their characters and bigger roles to play. And it's just, as I say, like a nice sort of catch-all for them. And I understand people not liking the term, but
I don't like it at all.
As I say, I think in a lot of the recent films, the female characters have had a lot more to do than in previous decades of Bond. So we shall see. Yeah. But yeah. In less than thrilling news, plans are afoot to reboot the Flintstones films with Ryan Gosling attached to play a grown-up Bam Bam Rubble. Attempts have already been made to reignite the series after two terrible films in 1994 and 2000, with Will Ferrell, Seth MacFarlane and Elizabeth Warren all attempting to take us back down to bedrock. With Gosling already busy though with Star Wars Starfighter and Ghost Rider and dropping out of other projects due to a lack of availability, one can only hope that this falls off the schedules too. I mean, I know that
probably just said I'll think about it, and they've gone and rushed out and gone, oh yeah, he's on board.
Yeah. Oh, he's got blonde hair, and he was in Barbie, which was kind of meta. So yeah, let's do that. Yeah, no. I mean, I saw the Flintstones at the cinema on its original release. It's one of the worst cinema experiences I've ever had. Apart from the fact it was sold out crazily, and we had to sit in a very front row. So I watched a film like that. But
oh no,
not great. Rupert Grint, who spent a decade playing Ron Weasley, is returning to the Burrow, bringing back his red-haired hero in adult form on the stage in The Cursed Child on Broadway. Grint begins his tenure in February 2027 for a 17-week run in a production already featuring Tom Felton reprising his role as Draco Malfoy. That run is due to end in January, but maybe, just maybe, that'll be extended, giving the fans a chance to see the duos cross wands once again.
Nice.
Exciting for them.
I actually ran in the West End for many years, and I really saw it. So, and right now I don't know. Like I don't. It's almost I don't really want to talk about Harry Potter anymore. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the series for HBO, I'm going to have to review it, obviously, and I know people are not going to be happy about that. And my job is to review stuff, and I shall be reviewing stuff.
Yes.
That's that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there was a bit of series news as well, wasn't there, this week? Because Nicholas Hoult was cast in the role that Kenneth Branagh had in the second film.
He's dropped out again.
He's dropped out, yes, and Kit Harington has taken the role on, which they sort of said that he played it in the audiobook, so it'll work. But I think Nicholas Hoult would have been perfect for that character. But
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about bullying actors into not accepting roles. I'm not happy. I'm really, I think this kind of like judgment via social media and threat of cancellation. Let's not do that, you know.
no, it's awful. It's awful. I understand people's views, but just leave it alone. Just go and do something else. Yeah, no, absolutely. This now, right. This was news, especially for me, very exciting. Ridley Scott has confirmed plans for a third Alien prequel movie with Michael Fassbender's David returning. Now, having spent the last few years delivering historical epics like Napoleon, Gladiator 2, and The Last Duel, and with Dog Stars hitting cinemas this week, it seems Mr. Scott might be returning back to sci-fi. He's still got aliens on the brain, it seems, as in addition to all of those films, he's thinking about doing another Alien prequel movie.
I'm all for it, you know.
Absolutely. This is another one where I decry social media because Aliens fans, all franchise fans, get far too protective and opinionated, and Alien fans are some of the worst, in my opinion.
The worst, absolutely. Yeah, they are the worst.
They want a new film, and then a new film comes along, and they say, "Well, that's not what I wanted," and you think, it doesn't matter.
Grow up.
Exactly. So yes, hopefully Fassbender will be back to reprise his role as the brilliant David. How it'll work with an Alien Romulus sequel coming, an Alien Earth season 2 also coming, all trying to fill the gap prior to the original Alien film, who knows? But let's be clear, it's so far just a plan for Ridley, who also has a new Treasure Island movie about to roll with Hugh Jackman starring. He's got a Bee Gees biopic on the slate and a World War II thriller, Covenant with Death, on the cards.
Oh, God. Isn't he like 80 something? 80?
He is in his 80s.
You know, I worry about him.
Yes, no, so do I. I mean, he works fast, but I wouldn't hold your breath on seeing this Alien movie come, but I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. So.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the premiere of the Dog Stars last week, and he was there, and he introduced the movie, and I mean, he doesn't even look like he's in his 80s. He's aging really well. I mean, like, still really super compass mentis, and quite impressed by him, really. And I was my husband is a massive Ridley fan, and he was just so happy to just be in the same place as him and just looking at him and seeing how much like he was in really good form, you know. So it gives you hope that he might have something sort of still to give us.
Yes, I think so, and I certainly hope so. Well, it's an unfortunate segue, but talking of the age of Ridley Scott, two legends passed away this week. We lost country music legend Dolly Parton at the age of 80 after a short battle with cancer. And yes, she was a country music legend, but she also starred in 8 feature-length films, starting with 9 to 5 in 1980, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in 82, Rhinestone in 84, Steel Magnolias in 89, Straight Talk in 92, Frank McCluskey CI in 2002, Romeo and Juliet in 2011, and Joyful Noise in 2012.
Yeah, I adored her. I mean, yeah, so, I know you're probably going to say it, but like she was so much more than just a singer or an actress. She was someone like the perfect human, really, someone who could have chosen to make tons of money and hold her money, but instead she used her money for good, you know, and she is the main person, the main donator for the Moderna vaccine during COVID, you know, and she is, it's thanks to her that there was research. She was a huge supporter of the LGBTQ community, especially during the AIDS epidemic. That she was just an incredible human being, and someone who called herself a Christian and acted like a Christian, and like other 80-year-olds.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, an icon in every sense, and just a good person, a good soul, and yeah, she sort of surpassed, or was more than just a musician. She was a genuine icon and stood for positivity and just goodness. I can't put it any better than that. And that 9 to 5 is an absolute classic film, as is The Little Whorehouse and Steel Magnolias. A wonderful person, and sad to see her go. And then just the next day, one of my movie heroes, Tim Curry, passed away. A long time ill, so now sort of free from that, but a legend of acting on stage and screen. He originated the role of Mozart in Amadeus, and on the stage, and of Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Show on stage, and then was cast in the film in his movie debut, which is absolutely hard to believe because he's so good in that. He would go on to appear in Annie in 82, Legend in 85. Now, Legend is a Ridley Scott film. It's not great, but as with all Ridley Scott films, it looks incredible, and his portrayal of what is essentially the devil is remarkable. He would then be Wadsworth in Clue, which was one of my favorite films of all time. He would have a brilliant role in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. He played Cardinal Richelieu in The Three Musketeers. It was Long John Silver in The Muppet Treasure Island. He was Gomez Adams in Addams Family Reunion. Not a great film again, but he was praised for his performance. It's funny, actually. A lot of his 90s films were sort of regarded or critically treated quite poorly at the time, but now look back on as classics. So you have things like Congo from 1995, and he would just continue to work relentlessly through the decades, and always wonderful to see him appear in anything. Even the Wild Thornberrys, the cartoon on Kids TV when I was a lot younger. A brilliant actor. I think the last film I saw him in was probably Burke and Hare in 2010. Again, not a wonderful film, the John Landis film.
Yeah, I wanted to like that so much.
I did as well. Yeah,
I really wanted to like that.
That's quite a curate's egg. It's one that I've watched multiple times thinking, why is this not working? It's got such a good cast, but it's not quite there. But
he was incredible, and at one point he became he was at the top of the list of anyone wanting to hire a villain, and he really played the villain so well. And
he was speaking of villains, he was cast. He was the original casting for the Joker in the Batman animated TV series, but had to drop out and was replaced by Mark Hamill, who became sort of iconic in the role. But if you can, I actually heard Curry's original recording just this week, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So yes, another one will be sadly missed. And that's the end of the news for this week.
Meet me in the foyer.
Time for a review, and it's Ridley Scott's latest, a film called The Dog Stars. So I'm looking forward to an ensemble production featuring a kennel of canine stars such as Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, Laika, Scooby-Doo, Snoopy, Clifford, Marmaduke, Snowy, Pickles, Old Yeller, The Littlest Hobo, Beethoven and Pippet. Perhaps they fight crime under the name The Expoundables. Don't let me down now, Linda. Let's go for a walkie through your review. Has Ridley been a good boy or a bad dog?
Hey, come here.
Is that your mom?
So what'd you do before the world ended?
I was kissing my wife, playing with my dog. wondering every day how I got so lucky.
You gotta have something to haunt you, right? Otherwise, you might get lonely.
We were born before the wind.
We have no idea what's out there.
What do you expect to find? Happy people everywhere. The world that was doesn't exist.
Also younger than the sun.
It's just us trying to hold on to what was. And everyone else.
This world fits you, Bang. Wake up, defend, survive. There's gotta be something better than this.
The dream.
I gotta hear it. I don't have the feeling. I've got empty soul.
Can we help them?
Yeah.
In the day, the road.
We have to stay alive.
I don't like the feeling of wondering whether or not you're gonna come back.
It takes a lot of faith to keep searching.
I mean, it's called The Dog Stars, and it's got a dog on the most of the posters. So you'd think it's about a dog. It's not, unfortunately. I mean, there is a dog, and that particular dog, I'm sorry to say, departs pretty early on in the movie.
Oh no, you can't do
I'm so
this.
sorry to break everyone's hearts. Yeah, so this is an adaptation of Peter Heller's novel of the same name that was published in 2012. And it's, I love a Ridley Scott movie like the next person. And when I heard this was going to be made, I've actually read the book, the Peter Heller book, which I found really dull personally and very slow. And I must say that if you were expecting the movie to be anything other than that, you're going to be sorely disappointed. So, but it's kind of like a strange beast of a movie, and it's just under 2 hours long. It is a post-apocalyptic movie that can't quite decide if it wants to play with the idea of like sort of what happens after the world ends because of something really awful that's happened, and whether it wants to be this kind of glossy sort of hopeful movie about these two people who find each other in the middle of the end of the world. So, and that is the main problem with the movie. So the movie centers on Hawke, who is played by Jacob Elordi. I mean, he's pretty much in everything, Jacob Elordi, obviously. He's actually quite good in this. He plays a kind of brooding, silent type really well. He's a former mechanic turned amateur pilot. And so we find him, and it says that it's a narrative that happens 8 years after a pandemic, a flu pandemic, has killed pretty much the majority of people on Earth. There's only like a few survivors, and the most of the danger here comes from the survivors. So he's befriended this hardened former Marine played by Josh Brolin. You know exactly what kind of character you're going to get with Josh Brolin. If I just tell you that, you know exactly. This is kind of like this kind of gruff guy who shoots first, asks questions later. So while the Josh Brolin character, Bangley, is happy to just survive another day, thanks to his sort of military background. He's ready to fight at any minute. He's there and ready to kill or be killed. Hawke is not that kind of a guy. He's still mourning the death of his wife, who was pregnant when she caught the flu and died with the rest of the world. But for him, simply staying alive isn't enough. He needs to feel hope. And that hope comes in the shape of, he basically what's happened, because he is a mechanic, he's taught himself to fly these kind of light, what they call them, the Cessnas.
Oh, yeah,
Very, yeah. And he's been collecting them from everywhere, and he's got a ton of Cessnas, all that he keeps flying all over the place. And the hope comes from this kind of message that he keeps hearing every time he passes through this valley. And for him, there is an idea that, oh, there is a world becoming to form, and there is civilization again, and he wants to find those people. So he tells Bangley that, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'd like to go and look for those people and possibly find a way to get together with them. On the day he decides to do that, he's basically been flying for a bit, and then he crash lands somewhere where he's not to be supposed to be crash landing. He's met by a duo, a father-daughter survivor duo played by Guy Pearce and Margaret Qualley. Margaret Qualley is brilliant in everything. Guy Pearce, same, really good. Performances here, I have zero problem with the performances. Every single person puts in the absolute best performance they could possibly give this really weak screenplay. So obviously him being this kind of like really charming young man, and is quickly taken up by Simma, played by Margaret Qualley. They form this kind of friendship, and she doesn't want him to leave. Her father wants him to leave. In the end, the father is basically charmed by Hig, and I think I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to give too much away. It's from then on that we get to really into the ins and outs of, you know, him fighting these kind of savage survivors. I think the problem with the film is that the would you call it? The antagonists are a problem for him, because then they're just other survivors, but they are survivors that act as if they were zombies. And the problem with that idea is that we've already had it in 28 years later. And even the way they move around, these survivors, it's been 8 years and they've already turned into savages. It feels a bit weird, and it feels a bit like we've seen it before. And the survivors also act like zombies, and they move like zombies, and they're being shot at like zombies. And it's a very confused screenplay. It's a confused idea that doesn't really work on paper. I think a film looks good, you know, cinematographically, it really looks good, and performances are really good. Got a subplot with Benedict Wong, the great Benedict Wong, who plays this kind of head of Mennonite congregation, who have managed to survive, and they've got children and everything, and they kind of represent the hope of a new dawn for humanity. However, he's kind of like subplot isn't shown enough, and I feel like he thought, or they probably filmed way more, and then they ended up cutting a lot of it, and I would have really liked to see more of that kind of subplot. And it's fine, you know, it's a 3-star movie. It's fine as it is. I think it's too long, personally. It doesn't always work the way you want it to work. Characters do stuff that there is one particular section in the movie where they eventually meet the people he's been trying to get hold of, and then something happens during that makes absolutely no sense, and that's where I really gave up on the movie. You'll know which section once you go and see the movie. I wasn't super enamored with this. I thought it was very silly, and I thought that the ending was also very cheesy, and I expected more from Ridley Scott. Genuinely, I think the problem with it is not Ridley's direction. It's actually the screenplay and the book it was based on. I as I said, I read the book before seeing the movie, and I think it's a really dull book. I found it really, really slow, and we're not in Cormac McCarthy sort of world here. Cormac McCarthy really, his depiction of the end of the world is so much more sort of hefty and interesting and philosophical. There is none of that here, and I just found it super disappointing. It's too glossy.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It doesn't really surprise me in that the screenwriter, his previous film was Twisters, which I know you enjoyed, but I thought was terrible. And I thought a lot of that was the screenplay by Mark L. Smith, although he did apparently write the screenplay for The Revenant, but maybe that was saved by the direction rather than the screenplay. It's. I'm not a fan of post-apocalyptic dystopian films. I find zombie films very boring. But
I'm a fan of the genre.
Yeah, absolutely fair enough. It just doesn't stir me. Although so there's a couple of examples I like. I think I Am Legend was a good film. End a bit dubious, but of course there are two ends depending on which version you're watching. And if you want dystopian, then Civil War from the other year, I thought was an excellent.
That's really good.
That's a very good film. Yeah. So maybe watch those instead of this. And of course there was one dog film I didn't mention in my pre-ramble. Which was The Call of the Wild, that Harrison Ford film, which is awful.
No.
Oh, it's terrible. When they decide to tell the story from the dog's point of view, very strange.
I mean, it's like it's an adaptation of Call of the Wild of those books. There's kind of like 1940s, 1930s books, and it is what it is. I quite like that.
Okay,
I really liked it. Yeah,
no, it takes all sorts. And of course, Jacob Elordi is another potential Bond.
He won't be Bond,
but no, I don't.
Too tall.
That's yes. That's what we always come back to. Is he 6'5" or something? Yeah. And too Australian.
And he's Australian.
Yeah. Don't need another George Lazenby. Right. Thank you very much, Linda. That was excellent.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, it's time for another of Jawa's classic movie moments, and this week I'm taking a look at a film celebrating its 45th anniversary. It's the second solo film from former Python Terry Gilliam, one of the most creative and skillful directors in cinema, and he takes us on an incredible adventure through time and space with a ragtag gang of bandits running from the greatest force in the universe and facing the ultimate foe. So orienteer your maps and join me for an adventure with the Time Bandits.
Remember my voice? I do trailers. All kinds of trailers.
23, take 2.
One day they'll put me in a film, a proper full-length job. Until then, I'm just stuck with this sort of stuff. Go and see this. Don't miss that. The most terrifying thing you ever saw is coming to babysit for you tonight.
All right, cut it there. Look, just read what's on the script, will you?
What?
The script. Other way up.
Ready?
Yes.
You flock to see brief encounters for the special
Close.
Close Encounters.
Close Encounters, the film.
Oh, I never saw it.
Well, forget that film. We're on about our film. Time Bandits.
The what?
Time Bandits, the one you are supposed to be promoting. Remember?
You flock to see Close Encounters for the special effects. You went to Superman to see a man fly. You went to Star Wars for the droids. You went...
Now what?
What's page 2, man?
It's under page 1. See? Oh, dear.
You went to Star Wars for the droids. Time Bandits can offer you much, much more. It's not the special effects, or flying men, or droids, which makes Time Bandits a unique cinematic...
Cinematic! Pertaining to the cinema.
Cinematic experience, it's the makeup. Yes, folks, you've never seen anything like it. Men made up to look like monsters. Monsters made up to look like men. Look-alike men made up to look different. Different men made up to look alike. No expense has been spared on the pan stick. No expense has been spared flying in the world's greatest makeup man.
Just a minute. What about the plot?
The what?
The plot. What the film is about.
Well, I haven't seen it, have I?
Haven't seen it? You're sitting there telling millions of people to go and see a film you haven't even seen?
Well, I can't see every film I do now, can I?
Oh, wonderful. Terrific. Look, give me that.
What are you doing?
Taking over. You're out. O-U-T. Finished. Kaput. Finito.
What about the trailer?
I'll do it. Time Bandits is an awfully good film. We have worked ever so hard on it. It's a tremendous adventure story. We like it, and we're pretty sure you will. What's wrong with it? It's direct, punchy, honest.
Honest. What's that got to do with it?
So, Time Bandits is a 1981 British fantasy adventure film, co-written, produced and directed by Terry Gilliam. The film tells the story of a young boy taken on an adventure through time with a band of thieves who plunder treasure from various points in history. In 1979, Terry Gilliam was unable to set up the film Brazil, therefore he proposed a family film. Time Bandits was co-written with fellow Monty Python Michael Palin, financed by ex-Beatle George Harrison, under his Handmade Films studio production label, and filmed in England, Morocco and Wales. So the plot: Kevin is a young boy fascinated by history, particularly that of ancient Greece. His parents ignore his activities, having become obsessed with buying the latest household gadgets. One night, Kevin, as he sleeps, an armoured knight on a horse bursts out of his wardrobe. Kevin hides under the covers as the knight rides off into a forest where his bedroom wall was. When Kevin looks again, the room returns to normal, and he finds one of his photos on the wall similar to the forest he saw. The next night, he prepares a satchel with supplies and a Polaroid camera, but is surprised when 6 dwarves spill out of the wardrobe. Kevin quickly learns the group has stolen a map and is looking for an exit from his room before they are discovered. Pushing on the wall reveals a long corridor leading to a portal. Kevin hesitates to join the fleeing dwarves until the apparition of a floating menacing head, the supreme being, appears behind them, demanding the map's return. Kevin leaps into the empty void at the end of the hallway. So often I don't remember when I've first seen films. I think it's a symptom of seeing too many. But I do remember first seeing this film, or half of it, because I don't know if you had this, Linda, but certainly it was quite common in UK schools back in the 80s that at the end of term, teacher would wheel a giant TV, and I mean a giant TV with a huge back on big legs, wheel it into your classroom or into the hall and say, "It's the end of term, we're going to watch a movie." And generally they would put on something a bit inappropriate for your age group, and you'll be shown Indiana Jones Too Young or something like that. One year he wheeled it in and put on Time Bandits, and we watched it. It was going brilliantly. I was totally enthralled. And just after the Napoleon scene, he went, "Right, let's go for a break, stretch your legs, and then come back and we'll watch the second half." And the problem with that is no teacher knows how to work a TV and VCR. So we went for a break, we came back, and they couldn't make the film work again. So I didn't see the second half of Time Bandits for about 10 years.
Frustrating.
What a film. It's just brilliant. It's everything you want and expect from Terry Gilliam. Fantastical adventure, incredible production values, just mind-blowing stuff, and all sort of catered for kids, but not talking down to kids, really sort of, almost like a Grimm's fairy tale, in that it's quite dark, and just brilliant. So it stars David Rappaport as Randall, Kenny Baker as Fidget, Malcolm Dixon as Strutter, Mike Edmonds as Og, Jack Purvis as Wally, Tiny Ross as Vermin, Craig Warnock as Kevin, David Dacre as Trevor, Kevin's father, Sheila Fern as Diane, Kevin's mother, and Jim Broadbent as a TV game show host. And appearing in unnamed cameos, you've got John Cleese as Robin Hood, Sean Connery as Agamemnon, Shelley Duvall as Pansy, Katherine Helmond as Mrs. Ogre, Ian Holm as Napoleon, Michael Palin as Vincent, Ralph Richardson as the Supreme Being, Peter Vaughan as Winston the Ogre, and David Warner as Evil. So an incredible cast, just absolutely brilliant, and everyone turning in top level performances. Just fantastic. So as I said, it was written in '79 when Terry Gilliam had started work on Brazil, and Monty Python manager Dennis O'Brien couldn't understand the concept of Brazil, so Gilliam pitched a family film to him instead, and they went for that. And it was going to be produced under Handmade Films, as I said, which was run by George Harrison, who had established the firm to help fund The Life of Brian. When he was asked why he did that, he said, "Because I wanted to see the film," which is just brilliant. And it was, in fact, Life of Brian was actually supported by most of the British rock industry at the time, because I know Led Zeppelin and I think the Who supported it as well. So they backed making Time Bandits. Sean Connery, who has a role in one of the scenes, was cast as Agamemnon after he met producer O'Brien on a golf course, because where else would you find Sean Connery in the 80s? He said that the script, in fact, the actual script he saw said, "Removing his helmet reveals himself to be none other than Sean Connery or an actor of equal but cheaper stature." And Connery, being a Python fan, agreed to do the role, but for a nominal fee in return for a share of the profits. Robin Hood was originally written to be Michael Palin, but John Cleese was eventually cast, as his name was considered more bankable at the time. And Palin would go on to appear with Shelley Duvall in a small recurring role as Vincent and Pansy, who are really sort of a nice sort of dash of comedy every once in a while throughout the film. And Cleese plays Robin Hood like the Duke of Kent. He said he'd inspired to play him like the Duke of Kent, having watched him at the FA Cup final going down the row meeting all of the footballers, and thought, he said, "It always struck me as the most extraordinary ritual, the complete fatuity of walking up and down that thing." And it's just genius the way he plays Robin Hood, just meeting the poor, going, "Oh, are you the poor? Oh, lovely, yes, how are you? Oh, yes, marvelous." And then when he meets the Time Bandits and they want to join his gang, and they show him their hoard of treasure, and he just goes, "Oh, wonderful, the poor will be so pleased, and considerably less poor." Just a brilliant performance from Cleese. Ralph Richardson was cast as a supreme being because he was regarded as rightly pretty much near God in the acting profession, and quite rightly, he's absolutely brilliant, Ralph Richardson. Apparently he took his role so seriously, he wrote lines in his script in red ink saying, "God wouldn't say that," which is a nice touch. The brilliant Ruth Gordon, who's in one of the best ever Columbo episodes, was originally cast as Mrs. Ogre, but she was injured shooting Any Which Way You Can, so she dropped out, and Gilliam campaigned for Katherine Helmond, who got the role. And Jonathan Pryce was originally going to be Evil, but he opted for another film, Loophole, because he was getting paid a higher fee and he was broke at the time. But he would return to work with Gilliam in Brazil, the previously mentioned. Gilliam said he wanted to film the film from a kid's point of view, so there's a lot of low camera angle shots in it. But he said he feared a child wouldn't sustain the film, so he surrounded him with people of a similar height. So you get the dwarves that make up the Time Bandits, who are just fantastic. They squabble all through the film brilliantly. They're just constantly bickering, which apparently is genuine, because Rappaport, the Randall, the head of the gang, he believed he was cast on his acting ability rather than the fact that he was an actor of shorter stature. So he wouldn't associate with the other Time Bandits, and they resented him for that, and that sort of comes out in their performances, which works perfectly. Gilliam was encouraged, as studios often do, tend to meddle with his work, to end the film with a less downbeat ending, but he resisted that, thankfully. And that's one of the great things about the film. It has no sentiment. You can tell it's a British film because it's dark and brutal and completely unsympathetic. There's no sentimentality in it at all. I mean, he even goes as far. You mentioned in your Ridley Scott review, the dog stars. In this film, the dog dies, but it's okay because the dog is actually one of the evil's henchmen turned into a dog, so it's fine. And also, O'Brien was pressuring Gilliam to include some of George Harrison's songs in the soundtrack, and his song "Dream Away" appears on the end titles, which is always a little bit incongruous when it suddenly breaks into this upbeat George Harrison number. But it's quite a catchy tune, and the lyrics, if you listen to them, are actually about Time Bandits and Gilliam's behaviour during the making of the film. Released in 81, as I said, it opened at #1 in the box office that weekend. It remained #1 for 4 weeks in the US and grossed 36 million in the US and Canada on a 5 million budget. It was the 13th highest grossing film of the year, and then was re-released the following year in the US and made another 6 million at the box office.
Wow.
Not bad at all, yeah. Actually, my partner asked me today, is Time Bandits a classic? And I was intrigued by that question because I think most people love it. And anyone who loves film loves Terry Gilliam because he's
it's definitely a classic. Definitely.
But then I just often think like it's not. Is it that widely known now? Is it a cult classic? But yeah, it's certainly brilliant. So yes, let's say it is definitely a classic. It's got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, so we can't be wrong. It got a review from Gary Arnold of the Washington Post, said it was a marvelous cinematic tonic, a sumptuous new classic in the tradition of time travel and fairy tale adventure. Whilst Roger Ebert was less keen and said, I'm usually fairly certain whether or not I've seen a good movie, but my reaction to Time Bandits was ambiguous. I had great admiration for what was physically placed on the screen, but I was disappointed by the breathless way the dramatic scenes were handled and by a breakneck pace that undermined the most important element of comedy, which is timing. And there was a slight meandering at the end of the first act, but it's such a good... The thing is, it jumps around in time and space to all these locations, and as I said before, the production values are just ridiculous. And Gilliam was a genius at making a tiny budget and a limited set or location look $1 million. And it just, as I say, they go to ancient Greece. It looks incredible. It's Morocco. They go to the Napoleonic Wars. It looks incredible. And then they're meeting giants and monsters and satanic castles. It's all absolutely amazing. Gilliam referred to Time Bandits as the first in his trilogy of imagination, followed by Brazil in 85 and ending with the adventures of Baron Munchausen in 88. All three fantastic films with, again, looking incredible ideas that just blow your mind. That where did they come from? I mean, it's absolute genius. They're all about the craziness of our awkwardly ordered society and a desire to escape it through whatever means possible. All three films focus on these struggles and attempt to escape them through imagination. Time Bandits through the eyes of a child, Brazil through the eyes of a man in his 30s, and Munchausen through the eyes of an elderly man. And Empire ranked it at number 22 on the 50 best kids movies of all time. Marvel made it into a comic in 1982. They planned to make a sequel in 1996 and were planning to bring back the original cast except for David Rappaport and Tiny Ross, who had died, but then Jack Purvis also died and the sequel was shelved. And then in 2018, Apple made a TV series with Taika Waititi directing. Right. It's terrible. The casting is awful. Lisa Kudrow takes the lead role of the bandits. None of the bandits are dwarves or people of diminished stature. Actually, the child actors are pretty good, but yeah, the tone is all wrong. It's got that standard Waititi flippant tone.
See what I mean? This is like I feel like everything he touches now, I don't want to see.
Yeah.
This is why I said I'm really worried about Clara and the Sun, because they couldn't have picked a worse director for it. For a book that I absolutely adore. That's a book that has these really subtle ideas about what it is to be human. He's gonna flippant. Exactly what you said, flippant. He's flippant about stuff. He's going to give it that kind of like this kind of like feeling of you're being mocked kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote in my notes, I said, the actors in the series act like they don't care, and I feel like I don't care either. So what's the point? So back to Terry's film, it's set in suburbia. It's all about commercial television, consumerism, mindless consumption, but Kevin is interested in history. It's interesting, actually. I noticed this time that his bedroom's wall is covered in pictures of characters that would appear later in the film. And the more you watch it, the more you think, is this all a dream? And fortunately, as I say, I don't want to ruin the ending, and I won't, but Gilliam is better than that. And despite even watching it this week, I realized that the castle, the Devil's Castle, or Evil's Castle, sorry, at the end, if you look, it's actually made of Lego. So all the heroes that turn up to fight evil they're cowboys, they're knights, they're soldiers. There's even a spaceman, and so it's like it's Kevin's toys coming to life. And just as you're thinking maybe it is a dream, think again. So yeah, it's like a morality tale on avarice, greed, pride, and arrogance. I found it interesting that Warner's Evil says that God doesn't have any interest in technology. He doesn't see the potential in the microwave, and the devil would have started with the laser beam from day one. And it feels like the devil's kind of been proven right, because humanity seems to be getting worse by the year as technology increases and permeates every part of our lives. Its performances are fantastic. It's like a Python film. You've got lots of serious actors, lots of serious background actors, and then spotted in are all these ridiculous Python-esque caricatures. Kevin, the lead boy, played by Craig Warnock, is fantastic. He's so strong. It's odd they didn't go on to do any more. But as I say, I can't praise this film highly enough, really, for Gilliam's work on it. His artistic vision and creativity isn't appreciated enough, I think, by the general public, which just proves to me that the public don't know what's good for them. It's don't give them what they want, give them what they need. His films, as I said, are everything that cinema should be: adventures, wild, fantastical tales, incredible visions, sights never seen before, castles, galleons, minotaurs, gold, mazes, knights. Just absolutely brilliant. And sort of Kevin is the sort of moral heart of the film. Although it's interesting that everywhere he goes in time and space, he wants to stay, and the Time Bandits drag him away, and he resents them for this. But in fact, if he'd actually stayed in any of those places, he'd have ended up dead as well. So if you haven't seen the Time Bandits, find a map, jump through a time hole, and see if you can locate the Time Bandits for an incredible, fantastical adventure.
Oh, I love the Time Bandits. I haven't seen it in a very long time, really, really long time.
Yeah, always worth seeking out.
And me, I'm a Gillian sort of fanatic, so fab. And I love about Gillian because he's lived in the UK for such a long time, and he's American, but he also has British nationality. I feel like it has rubbed off on him. That's that kind of British way of seeing things.
Yeah. I mean, he must have picked it up really early, as I say, because this is his second film, and it is a British film.
He's the least American director.
Absolutely.
He understands that subtlety of humor Brits have. He's. I love him.
Wonderful, yeah. I hope he makes more. I really do.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, we've time for one more, and it's a biographical drama next on Charles de Gaulle, who led the French Free Forces against Nazi Germany and Vichy France in World War II, chaired the Provisional Government of Free France in 1944 to 46, and was President of France for a decade from 1959 to 69. On a side note, in 1962, an attempt was made on his life with an assassination, which was the basis of the novel and film The Day of the Jackal, which I highly recommend. A brilliant book and film, not the remake with Bruce Willis, The Jackal, which is awful, and not the recent TV series on Sky, which is equally rubbish. This, however, is a biopic about the man and his time as a leading figure in the French resistance during the Second World War. So over to Linda for her thoughts. Alonzi!
Your quixotic general taught us one thing at least. He's useless. It's clear now de Gaulle's kingdom, so-called empire, hasn't any subjects.
Betting on de Gaulle seems like something of a leap of faith, don't you think?
This is not my first war. If he fails, we'll get rid of him.
Pariez avec nous!
Pourquoi discuter avec De Gaulle s'il n'est pas la France? Vous n'êtes pas la France!
Notre cœur fait boum. Tout avec lui dit boum. Et c'est la rage qui s'éveille. Boum.
This is a very long movie, so if you don't have, if you can't stomach it, bear with it, because it's a very long movie. It's over 2.5 hours long. However, it is extremely absorbing. I genuinely was not expecting to love it as much. Bear in mind, I am a French speaker, so it's a lot easier for me to sort of, I mean, there's a lot of French speaking in it, but it's also like it is set in London during the Resistance. So you've got to bear in mind that there are also some British actors and some acting in English, but most of it is actually in French. So this is directed by Antonin Baudry, and it's the first part of the two-part absolutely behemoth of a saga about de Gaulle and how he was the last man standing when Maréchal Pétain surrendered to the Nazis and decided to cooperate with them, including giving away the Jews of France and letting the Nazis take them to concentration camps. And it was a really dark time in France's history, and de Gaulle was the last general standing and the only man who said, no, we're not having this. This is, as long as I'm alive, France cannot capitalize to the Nazis. So he's played by, have to give me a second. Yeah, he's played by Simon Abkarian. And you've also got Winston Churchill, who's played by Simon Russell Beale. Brilliant. I love Simon Russell Beale in anything, really.
Incredible actor.
He does a really good Churchill. So the story is it is a really ambitious and richly detailed historical epic. It's very, very super detailed. So if you are a fan, if you are like a proper sort of World War II nut, and I know loads of people who are, you are gonna absolutely love this movie. And it is less interested in rushing from one famous event to another, but it takes its time, and it really details how this one lone sort of fighter took the resistance to a figure of hate or of derision to start with, to the man who actually managed to bring France back from the brink, by the Allies didn't like him, the Americans didn't like him. They thought he was too weird and less charismatic, but he really was a charismatic man. He was very patrician, very sort of an old-fashioned upper class officer in the French army, who took all of that pride of being French to say, no, we are not going to do this. We are not going to capitulate to the Nazis. And it took him forever to convince the Brits. I mean, he escaped from France to to London and was met by Churchill, who with him he became almost like a frenemy. You know, they really butted heads a lot, and Churchill and all the people around Churchill actually saw him as someone they couldn't work with because he was just really determined to do whatever he wanted. And they would have preferred someone less sort of awkward and less determined to do what he wanted to do, someone they could work with. But he was really unstoppable. I'm gonna keep it short here because you really, honestly, it is a fabulous, fabulous movie. I think this is my film of the week this week because it's so well done. There's also like a secondary story running along the story, and that secondary story kind of concentrate on a hero of the resistance called Fernand Bonnier de la Chapelle. He's played by Florian Lossier. Really fabulous, really, really good performances. There are things I'd like to say about sort of the representation of colonial Africa and the way in which the French promised a lot and delivered very little afterwards, because all of the territories that were like Chad and Senegal and, you know, like all of the sort of Algeria, which was the pearl in France's colonial territories, all of these people who fought alongside the French against the Nazis were promised a lot, and in the end nothing was delivered, and it ended up with Algeria having to start its own war. And that ended in 1962 when de Gaulle said the very famous "Je vous ai compris," which means "I have understood you," which means you want your freedom like we wanted our freedom. That bit is probably going to be shown in the second movie. That is the bit I'm more interested in personally, because I'm really passionate about the story of the area because of my own sort of familial, origins. Yeah, so this is so well done. I genuinely, like, I was gobsmacked at how good it is. There's a section where there is a battle, the Battle of God, if I can remember where it's called, Kabir, I think it's called. And it's a really famous battle during World War I, and it takes place in the Sahara, in the Libyan desert. It's so well filmed and so well devised and so brilliantly acted that I thought I was watching, you know, one of those really old-fashioned war movies. This is so well done. It cost quite a bit of money to make, and it didn't really make its money back in France. However, I think internationally, this is going to do really well with history buffs, people who are really fascinated with that history. Brilliant film. The ending, I mean, there's like a little bit of clunky dialogue here and there, but I'll forgive it that. That's why I didn't give it 5 stars. It's a 4-star movie. Really, really great movie. Go see it. Dog Stars is fine, but yeah, forget all the other movies coming out this week. Go and see this. It's really, really, really good.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sold. I am a Second World War nut, and this sounds
You're
incredible.
Gonna love it.
You've completely sold me on it. Absolutely.
Yeah. You've got to really give it sort of. You've got to ignore the clunkiness of the dialogue in some parts, but genuinely, it was riveting.
Yeah.
Those, like, I wasn't bored for a second.
Yeah. I mean, with with slight trepidation of offending the audience and yourself, whilst you were saying that Churchill wanted someone who was less stubborn and sort of pig-headed and determined to have their own way, I was thinking, did he want someone who was a bit less French?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it sounds great. I mean, it amused me actually today looking this up, and I wandered onto de Gaulle's Wikipedia page, and you scroll down, and there's actually a picture of him with sort of like a Gauloise cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and I thought this guy couldn't be more French.
More French, yeah. Yeah, no, it's fabulous. My film of the week, like,
fantastic,
absolutely, like, no, contest. Go see it.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to it. And then part 2, of course. Yeah. So
Yeah. Part 2 I'm
yeah.
excited about as well. Yeah.
Marvelous. Do you know how long it'll be until part 2 arrives?
I think it's made already.
Wonderful.
It should come out at the end of this year. I think they got into this habit of making these kind of absolutely massive movies and then cutting them in half. Yeah. Good movie.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that. And then, not too long till part 2. Thank you very much, Linda. That's great.
No worries.
And sadly, that's the end of another show. Linda and I are just about to jump into another time hole for further adventures. Who knows, we may travel forward to December to see June 3 and Doomsday before anyone else. And we'll be back in 7 days. If the powers of the universe allow, we might share those secrets with you, because we're here for more than one night only. So join us again next week for more reviews, news and chat. In the meantime, check out all our shows on YouTube, Acast, iTunes and Spotify. And now it just remains for me to say thank you to Linda, merci for your wonderful work and company. And until next time, take care out there. And if your wardrobe rattles in the night, I advise you pull the covers over your head and listen to another episode of Meet Me in the Foyer.
And don't touch it, it's evil.
Exactly, yes. Don't go near that cupboard door. And until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.
Subscribe now to help fans supporting food banks. Go to patreon.com/Rock and Gold Radio and look for your favourite club subscription pages and sign up with your favourite presenter. Rock and Gold Radio. No adverts, no VAR, no limits.
Meet Me in the Foyer.
And sorry, I'll try that again. That's a difficult one. Names and long words. Right, sorry.